Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday afternoon. Hope yours is going well. We've got another Seahawks video to get to today, but first, we are still at 2,030 YouTube subscribers. I know it says 2,020 still. YouTube's telling me it's 2,030, so we're going to go with that. Thank you to all the subscribers, and special tip of the cap goes to the channel members, 28 of them now, including elite channel members HaWKxXA, Brandon Mikel, Rip, Hawk Hasher 4 MVP, Scott Todd, and new elite channel member as of last night, VGK Tigers. Appreciate the support, everybody. All right, it's time for the road to 150, and something really interesting happened last week against the Giants, other than the fact that the Seahawks completely sucked and lost, and, well, that's pretty interesting too, but for maybe the first time this season, the Seahawks actually played a fairly normal opposing play call slate. We did not face a team that passed the ball 60 plus times. We didn't even face a team that passed the ball 40 plus times. The New York Giants dropped back to pass less than 30 times. I think it was something like 22 pass attempts, 2 sacks, and 1 QB scramble, so basically 25 QB dropbacks, meaning there were finally not that many opportunities for the pass rush to actually, get to the quarterback. And that means that the road to 150 this week is going to be kind of low, but I don't necessarily believe this is a bad thing just because we didn't face that many pass attempts for once. So keep that in mind as we go forward. Colt McCoy dropped back, I believe, about 25 times when we played the Giants last week. So with that in mind, these numbers are okay. I'm not going to say I'm super excited about them, but after having a chance to really look at it, I think the pass rush did decently, given the fact that they didn't have that many opportunities to go at Colt McCoy. So let's run it down. Rasheem Green may have been the star of the show on the defensive line. He had 2 QB pressures on Colt McCoy. He's rounding into form, and he could be a crucial piece as we head into the playoffs this year. Just something to keep in mind. So he's up to 6. Obviously, he's not getting anywhere near his 2020 projection, but I'm not really going to put that on him. It is what it is. That's what happens when you get hurt and miss half the season. Benson Mayowa, he picked up, I believe it was 1 QB pressure against the Giants, so he chipped in. He's having a decent enough season. I'm not saying he's the greatest player ever or anything like that, but he is playing pretty well for us in his limited role. Had he not gotten injured, he probably would have gotten to my 2020 projection or exceeded it, actually. So both these guys contributed. LJ Collier, however, did not. He stayed at 12. Nothing really from him against the Giants, which was obviously disappointing, but he continues to, exceed my very, very minuscule expectations for him in 2020. Yay. Blow a kazoo somewhere, guys. Whew. Alton Robinson, nothing new from him. Demontre Moore still out with the suspension. He'll be back soon, which, by the way, carries some significance with it. Jerron Reed picked up a QB pressure. He got to 13 on the season now, which is exactly as many as he had last season in 10 games. And when you put it like that, it's not so great now, is it? However, he has been improving as the weeks have gone on, and he's had more of an impact on this team's pass rush in, I'd say, the last month. So maybe he's rounding into form. I will say that if it takes you 2 months to round into form, that's a problem. You're getting paid for the whole year, not just the last 2 months, but maybe he's got something for us down the home stretch. Poona Ford, nothing new from him in the pass rush. He continues to be a somewhat of a breakout star on this defense, but nothing new from him in the pass rush against the Giants. Brian Monet is still out. Darrell Taylor still out. Shaquem Griffin, forgotten man on this defensive line at this point. He barely plays unless it's garbage time. So my high expectations for him when he actually got a roster spot against the Cowboys and moving forward have been crushed. He's done basically nothing since the Cowboys game, unfortunately. Anthony Rush is on another team. Jonathan Bullard also has been basically smushed out of the rotation. Carlos Dunlap got limited snaps against the Giants, didn't play that much. No new pressures from Carlos Dunlap. I continue to like what he does and what he's done to this defense, but not a lot of opportunities for him against the Giants. Damon Harrison, nothing yet from him. Obviously, he's not that kind of player, especially not anymore, but so far through 3-4 games since he got here, nothing from him in the pass rush department. So that's the defensive line. Pretty weak this week, but when you take a look at how often the Giants actually pass the ball, it's pretty reasonable, especially when you don't have Dunlap playing a full load. All right, so next we have the linebackers. Bobby Wagner, nothing new. However, and here's a surprise, one of the bigger surprises of the year, KJ Wright continues to add on. He continues to be a fairly effective blitzer from the linebacker position, which to my knowledge he's never really been before. He added another QB pressure against the Giants. He's up to 6 on the season. For comparison, he had 1 last year and 1 the year before. So I'm not saying, once again, I said this last week, I'll say it again, I'm not sure how much I love putting KJ Wright on the blitz. I don't believe it's a very effective use of his talents, but this year so far it kind of has been. I can't really argue with the results so far on sending KJ Wright on the blitz, especially the last month. Nothing else from any of the linebackers. Jordan Brooks and his inability to score a pressure in pass rush through now 12 games is mystifying to me. It seems to me that should be one of his stronger talents. Seems to me using him on the blitz should be something that we should be trying to do. Excuse me. And he basically never blitzes. Basically, we haven't sent him on a blitz in, I feel like, a month. So I don't know what's going on there, but I feel like we could be utilizing his speed in a slightly more creative way than we are. All right, now cornerbacks, nothing new from the cornerbacks. I don't even know if we blitzed a cornerback against the Giants, so it's whatever, but nothing new from here. And let's move on to safety, where, of course, you better believe Jamal Adams had something to say about it against the Giants. He picked up 2 QB pressures, including a sack, and he continues to be the best player on this pass rush after missing a month. So it's quite a season that he's having for us, man. 20 QB pressures from the safety position, and he hasn't even played in 10 games. So that's great stuff. And add it all up, and at 12 games, we are now at 131 pressures. Not good enough given how many attempts we faced, but I can say this, against the Giants specifically, that was a pretty reasonable number, even though the actual raw number is low, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 7 QB pressures total against the Giants, which normally for this team would be really bad, but when you don't throw the ball, you're not going to give up QB pressures. So 7 on 25 attempts is something that I'm certainly willing to work with. It's not stellar, but it's pretty reasonable given that we didn't have Dunlap out there for a full load. And yeah, I think this pass rush is continuing to advance to the point where it will be a capable NFL pass rush by the time we get to the playoffs, but it needs to keep building. It needs to keep building in this direction. We need to see, I think, a little bit more from Jordan Brooks on the blitz. We maybe need to send him on a few more blitzes because I feel like that's a good use of his speed. And of course, we need to get Dunlap back at 100%, 100%. And I feel like we got something, but got to keep building. Pretty decent week from the pass rush despite not getting that many opportunities. And I'm going to go ahead and call that a video. Stream tonight for the Rams-Patriots game. I might miss the start, but I will be streaming the Rams-Pats. So come check it out. Video game stream after. And yeah, peace out. Go Hawks. I will see you guys during the game tonight.